Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to follow up from yesterday. We have been creating models and using number lines to add and subtract. We're going to continue adding and subtracting. Specifically today, you will be subtracting. Okay. So we're going to be subtracting, and we're going to be using, subtracting mixed numbers. And we will be using models to help us solve real world problems. Okay? All right, here we go. Which one would you rather have? Pause the video. Decide which one you would rather and why. Go share it with a person. Put it in your notebook. Be prepared to share it with me on Friday. Okay. Yesterday we worked on subtracting and adding unlike fractions by finding equivalent fractions using number lines. Today we're going to be working on subtracting mixed numbers with unlike fractions. Let's begin with this situation. Julie bought 6 pizzas for her party. 3 pepperoni and 3 were cheese. She had 2½ of the pepperoni pizza left and 1 1/4 of the cheese pizza. How much more of the pepperoni pizza was left than the cheese pizza? So first of all, I know what we're asking to be done. First of all, this is a story about Julie and pizza, and they now want to compare pepperoni pizza to cheese pizza. How much more pepperoni than cheese? So I know that we're going to be subtracting. So I'm going to set up my model or my equation to say 2½ minus 1 1/4. So our equation is 2 1/2 minus 1 1/4. So I'm going to start with our fractions. So I'm going to create my half, and I'm going to create my 1/4. All right, and you know, when we are creating the equivalent fractions, we're going to make both rectangles look the same. So for my half, I'm going to put my 3 lines, 1, 2, 3. Now that makes me have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. And 1, 2, 3, 4 parts are shaded, minus. Okay, so I'm going to come over here. I have my 4 parts, but I need to cut it in half. So I'm going to cut it in half. Now I have, let's see how many parts all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 parts all together, and 2 are shaded. Okay, now because I have equivalent or the same denominator, now I can subtract. So 4/8 minus 2/8 gives me 2/8. Okay, now I'm going to come back up here because I still need to subtract the whole numbers. So 2 minus 1 is 1, and my fractions were 2/8. But I also know by looking at my fraction, we have 2/8, so this is 2/8. If I erase the line down the middle, I can see that I have 1/4. So my model shows an equivalent fraction of 1 and 1/4. Okay? So when you are subtracting, you're going to start with writing your equation, Then you will create your models, subtract, and then you will come up with the answer. Based on our subtraction, we were able, in use of models, we were able to see that Julie has 1 1/4 more pepperoni pizza than she has of cheese pizza. All right, I would like for you to try this problem. Miles and Mason need 8.5 cups of rice for a recipe. Miles has 3 1/4 cups of brown rice, and Mason has 5 1/3 cups of yellow rice. How much rice do they have altogether? Will it be enough for the recipe? Explain why or why not. Okay, so I want you to pause the video. When you pause the video, I want you to write down first, what is the first thing that you need to do to solve this problem? And then I want you to estimate. So around how much? Not the exact number. What's the estimate of how much Miles and Mason have? Okay, pause the video. All right, you should have come up with a number. Okay, now I want you to think, how does that number compare to 8.5? Is it close to 8.5? Is it far from 8.5? Is it close to 8? Is it close to 8.5? Is it close to 9? Okay, pause the video, write down what your estimate is close to. All right, now here's what we're going to finally do. I want you to take what Miles and Mason have, and I want you to solve it using models. How much rice do they have all together? Pause the video, solve the problem. All right, guys. So you should have written down 3 1/4 plus 5 1/3. 3 1/4, if we put it on a number line between 3 and 4, 3 1/4 is closest to 3. So I'm going to say 3 1/4 is, if we estimate it, it's going to be 3. 5 1/3, if we estimate it, it's going to be closer to 5. So 3 plus 5, the equivalent is going to come up to be about 8. So if we had to solve this, I would say we're going to be close to the number 8. Okay, so I set up my models. Take my tissue away. I set up my models for the fractions. I have at the top 3 plus 5 because those are our whole numbers. So now we are going to use our models. And remember, we are trying to create fractions so that they have the same denominator. In order for us to do that, we're going to make the rectangles look exactly the same. So I'm going to take these two lines and I'm going to add them to our 1/4. And now that makes us have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 altogether, and 1, 2, 3 are shaded. We're going to add that to, we need to put out 3 lines here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have a total of 12, and 1, 2, 3, 4 are shaded. Now, because the denominators are the same, I can now add them together. So the equivalent of 1/4 is 3/12. The equivalent of 1/3 is 4/12. So 3/12 plus 4/12 equals 7/12. So I'm going to be adding 3 plus 5 plus 7 twelfths. Now I know 3 plus 5 equals 8, and 8 plus 7 twelfths is 8 and 7 twelfths. All right. Now, we have 8 and 7 twelfths. So we are close to, well, we said it would be about 8, and we do. We have 8 and 7 twelfths. The question then asks us, do we have enough? Okay, so we're going to push this off a little up here. So we have 8 and 7 twelfths, and we need to know, is it close to 8 and 1/2? All right, so if we created our line, a number line. Here's our number line. We start at 8. We go to 9. We know 8.5 is going to be in the middle. But we're really asking about this 8 and 7 twelfths. So we need to split this up into twelfths. So I know if we're going to do twelfths, we need to have 11. So I'm going to put 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if I do 5 and 5, that's 10, and then the one in the middle, that makes 11. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so now I have 8 and 1 twelfth, 8 and 2 twelfths, 8 and 3 twelfths, 8 and 4 twelfths, 8 and 5 twelfths, 8 and 6 twelfths, 8 and 7 twelfths, 8 and 9 twelfths, wait a minute, 7 twelfths, 8 twelfths, 8 and 9 twelfths, 8 and 10 twelfths, 8 and 11 twelfths. So here is 8 and 7 twelfths, and here is 8 and 1/2, or 8 and 6 twelfths. So when I look at these numbers, I notice that the half mark is equal to 8 and 6 twelfths. So I do have enough rice if Mason and Miles combine their rice for their rice project. So when you solved it, you should have gotten 8, that Miles and Mason were able to combine their rice and have 8 and 7 twelfths cups of rice, which made them have enough rice to make their special rice recipe. All right, so today you will create models to help subtract mixed numbers with unlike fractions. You will now complete the independent activity. Click on My eClass page, click on the math assignment, and you will have a chance to complete that.